Hi, everyone. Welcome to the College Alternative Podcast. My name is Karen Christian, and I'm going to be standing in for James today. We're going to have a great episode all about plumbing, and we're going to learn about how to set yourself apart from the competition, whether or not it's worth it to start your own plumbing business, and finally, whether you should go into residential or commercial plumbing. My guest today is Michael Cusentino. He's been a plumber in the Chicago area since 1969. So not only does he have decades worth of experience, but he also started up his own plumbing business called Northridge Plumbing and has had a lot of success, made a lot of money. And he is here to tell you all about his experiences and how you can make the most of going into plumbing.
Interviews with the best in their fields, teaching you how to excel in careers that don't require traditional college. You're listening to the College Alternative Podcast. Insider tips and advice, straight from the experts. And now, here is your host, James Christian.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Cusentino, for coming onto the College Alternative show today. We're so excited to have you here with your decades worth of experience in the plumbing business. I am sure that there are many fledgling plumbers out there or people who are interested in joining the plumbing trade who can learn a lot from your experience today. So what I wanted to do was start with a little bit of your background. How did you get into plumbing, or how did you choose this trade versus any other possible field that you could have gone into?
I knew that I wasn't going to go to college, so when I got out of high school, my father was a plumber, so just for the heck of it, I tried it out, and been doing it ever since.
All right, so you just kind of fell into it.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. What did you?
We didn't worry. Go ahead.
Sorry, say it again.
Go ahead. No, we didn't worry about getting jobs when, back then there was jobs everywhere. Now it's a little bit tougher for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, hence this show too, to help people see what some of their possible pathways are besides looking at college. So what did you do to learn the trade? Did you work alongside your dad as you were learning it, or did you go to school, a plumbing school or apprenticeship?
No, I basically served an apprenticeship. I started working at my dad's outfit when I got out of school, breaking concrete, looking around, see what's going on. And I picked it up fairly easily, and been doing it ever since.
All
With
right.
a few interruptions, like the service and all that, but been doing it my whole life.
Okay, good. And you must have enjoyed the trade since you've stuck with it.
Oh, it's a riot. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
different personalities, a lot of headbutting, and a lot of fun.
Okay. Um, if someone was going to start out now, is that the same type of path that they might start out kind of as an apprenticeship, or what would it look like for someone who might start
Now
today?
you, now you kind of have to know somebody. Uh, the opportunities are not as plentiful as when I was young. They're starting to hire plumbers in the union now in the Chicago area here,
Hmm.
and electricians also. They're expecting a big business boom with Mr. Trump or whatever coming into office.
Okay.
And some people might disagree. Uh, and it's be a good time to start and finding out about. You just have to get beat the streets and go to people's doors and see if they're hiring.
Okay. So you mentioned going through the union. How does that work? Do they help set you up with a place to?
Yeah, yes, the union will teach you the correct methods of plumbing.
Hmm.
Like right now, they're taking applications in the Chicago area union, local 130,
Okay.
and they're starting to look for people again.
Okay.
So maybe we're digging out of this recession, construction wise.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised to hear that the jobs are not as plentiful because I have this perception that people are looking are are not as familiar with the trade opportunities these days. Are you seeing that there are a lot of young people that are joining up, or are the jobs just, I don't know, different than they were before, or
Well, as far as plumbing goes, people kind of look down on plumbers because of the nature of what we do
yeah.
and getting your hands dirty. I mean, the color is not brown; it's green, as in money.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Once you get past the dirtiness, and it's people want if people are hiring right now, they want somebody with a little experience.
Mhm.
And if you're coming in cold, you start out at the bottom, driving a truck, working in the shop or whatever.
Mhm.
And when the opportunity arises, people retire all the time. You just move into that slot. And
Okay.
if you're lucky enough to get a union education, that's good because it's quicker.
Ah,
Hands-on experience is good, but the union, the 1 day a week, you go to school and you learn the proper way to figure things, the math and all the other goodies.
mhm.
It's not as simple as just flushing the toilet. There's
Sure.
physics involved in it and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
So you take it from there, and if you can get in a union, you're lucky. Just take it from there. So if you're lucky enough, once again, if you're lucky enough to get into the union, it's a good thing.
So, how long does it take? Like, say you were learning through the union. You're going one day a week to learn. How long does it take you to learn the
Uh,
trade going through them?
if you really like what you're doing, you learn it very quickly. You can learn it in 3 years, but you still learn something new. I find
Yeah.
things out that I didn't know, mainly with products. The products change. The basic plumbing does not change. It hasn't changed in 100 years because
Okay.
gravity is still king, and the water flows downhill. But the products change, and the technology changes, and that's about it.
So I have often thought to myself that I would make a terrible plumber because I don't know, my spatial awareness is, it's just, it's not very good. For example, my husband and I took apart our washing machine once, and we watched a video on YouTube to see, how to take it apart. And I watched the video, and then I go to look at, the mechanics of the system, and I'm completely lost. My husband's like, "Oh yeah, we just do this, this, this." I saw it once, and I'm fine with it. Do you think that there is an innate ability that someone needs to have in order to be able to understand the mechanical concepts of where everything is, or is this something that can be learned?
You can learn it. When we were kids, we changed our own oil on the car. We did our spark plugs,
Hmm.
fixed the car. So we had a little bit of an edge on kids today because most
Yeah.
kids don't touch their cars, and most cars are complicated today to touch anyway. But if
Yeah.
you have a little bit of an ability like that, plus I went to a technical high school, and I learned a little bit about electric. I learned automotive stuff,
Hmm.
pouring hot metals, print shop. We had that stuff. You guys don't have the same things that we have today. You guys are geared for the electric, and God forbid that the power grid ever goes down.
Oh yeah, we'd be completely lost there. I
It would.
yes. Um, I think that um, I'm sure that my inability to have this awareness of how to do these things comes from not practicing and from having, like at school, for example, I didn't go to trade school. We spent all of our time reading books and things like this that doesn't have that hands-on applicability that you, it sounds like that you got that probably helped you.
Yeah, in that respect, you go in to fix your thing. If somebody calls me on the telephone, I don't want to come out and fix your toilet unless I really have to. I
Hmm.
will try and walk you through fixing it so I don't have to come out. And
Hmm.
I only want the more complicated stuff to do because it's expensive. And if you can fix it yourself, that empowers you to do more.
Well, that's
And then you'll call me for the stuff that you can't do.
that.
So you extend your hand out a little bit, and you make a friend down the line.
Hmm. I'm.
So like you taking your wash machine apart, and YouTube is our friend because people get in trouble with YouTube and Yahoo and whatever else you guys use.
Do
You're like,
Do you get calls from people who try to do it themselves and
Oh,
failed epically?
all the time, and it's more than that.
Yeah. I'm
You
sure I'm
know,
sure
it's
you see all sorts of disasters in your line of work.
oh yeah, people are glad to see a guy come out and fix something. And
Yeah.
the game today is you got to watch out who's there, who comes out, because there's people that are called plumbers. I'm like with the gray hair and all this. They don't teach a lot of the things today that they used to teach, and
Oh.
you just accumulate the knowledge and have a good time with it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm fortunate that I like what I do. So for
Yeah.
me, I'll be plumbing probably until I'm 80 or my body can't take it anymore, and take it from there.
Okay. That's great. Is it something that is more of a young person's game because you have to, bend over and I don't know, get in these weird places and
It keeps me in shape too, so I get into those cabinets yet.
hmm
Now I can't I have two metal hips, but that's from skiing and other things.
Okay.
But the job keeps you moving, that's for sure, and keeps your parts, and you got to get into weird positions and places all the time. And
hmm
you do have to take care of your knees. That's about it. You have to have a pad to nail on. Young guys don't understand it. The guys that work for me or the guys I help out or something, I just beat them up all the time with that information because it comes back and gets you later. When you're young like you guys, you're supermen and
Oh,
women.
well, yeah, you think you're invincible when you're young, and
Oh yeah. I mean,
clearly we're
even
not. Yeah.
as far as women go, I used to have a woman apprentice. So, women get
Mhm.
into this stuff too. No doubt about it. You're, physically, when you got to pick up some big water heaters or something, you got to have some help. But, women are good solderers and that kind of noise. And, they can do it too.
That's good to hear. Do you see very many women going to the field of plumbing, or is it primarily
No,
men?
most women are disgusted by it. Come on.
Okay.
Check you're not disgusted, but the work is not pretty.
Yeah.
But you get used to it, and it pays the bills. And when other people aren't working, plumbers are working because
Yeah.
you can't flush the toilet,
Right.
and your water heater goes out, blah 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 blah. If you're a plumber, you work for life. You don't have to worry about money.
hmm
Basically work for money, and you'll always have a job.
Yeah,
You know,
that's good job security is important.
oh, yeah. If your friends find out you're a plumber, you're going to be doing side work the rest of your life. I used to have a group I went to parties with. And these were pretty high-powered people, and the conversation always stood around the plumber and with education, and that's what because people want to find out. They don't like to pay us,
hmm
so I can ask questions. Well, it's a good thing.
hmm
So if somebody was going to go into the business, I'd say, hey, try it out. You have nothing to lose. If you're a young person, 19, 18, whatever, go do it. If you can go work for a shop and go sweep the shop when you're still in high school, 15,
hmm
16, a work program, or just go knock on a door and see if somebody needs something, trucks washed or cleaned or whatever. You get in there. If you're aggressive, they're going to take you without a doubt.
Okay. Yeah, make those connections early so that you can start training.
Right. Once again, it's who you know. I mean, kids go to school with high hopes and making a lot of money, and a lot of guys coming out of school are spending the bill on the education. They're coming out making nothing. And the
Yeah.
guys that do make it are people that know somebody, or somebody gets them in somehow.
That's true no matter what field you go into. It's really all about who you know and the connections you can make. And it's funny because they don't really teach networking in school either. That would be a useful thing for them to
I've,
cover because it's so important in life.
yeah, just been introduced to networking with my son, Michael.
Yeah.
He's networking to get his job. He's got an interview to go on in about a week or two. And it's like, it's different. Like I said, when we were kids,
hmm
we knocked on doors, we talked to people, but now it's resumes and the computer thing, in which I'm totally against.
hmm
Uh, you can send a resume in, but you're not talking to that person that's there and seeing what you're hiring. You're looking at a resume, and a resume might not be correct.
hmm
It's what you put on it, and people professionally write them for you. So I say, I want to see somebody in front of my face before I hire them.
Yeah. Well, as an applicant, it's so much easier just to send out a resume than to go knock on the doors.
Sure it is. It's
Mhm.
easy.
And that's why, yeah, that's why it happens.
But you can't put a face on that resume.
Yep. So you started your own plumbing business. So I'm curious to know what it was like to transition between being working as a plumber to starting your own business, and what kind of experience you needed before you were able to do that, or what skills you needed to perfect or to learn before you were able to make that leap.
Well, to make the leap, you have to have confidence in what you're doing. That's where the leap starts. You
Hmm.
could do this for 20 years and you won't have the confidence to do it. But I was a pretty cocky kid and all that kind of noise. So I started in like 1969, went into service, came back, started working for the same guy I worked for. And about 3 years after I came back, I started a business.
Oh, wow. So you were fairly young.
Just, oh, yeah, 20, 24 or 6.
Okay.
1976, so 25. So when I was 25 years old, I, made the leap and started out by myself and slowly put on a guy here and a guy there when, the work was coming in and,
Hmm.
it was good. I had a lot of fun.
Were you hiring people who were older than you to be your workers in your own business?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys that were older than me, and I had most of the guys that I took, other than people that I knew that were older than me, that were already plumbers, I
Hmm.
took them to train them, from day one coming into the plumbing, because then you can train them in your ways and what you think is right and what's
Yeah.
worked. And turned out quite well because almost every guy, minus about maybe 1 or 2 out of 10, everybody else went into business. So I must have something happened that was good. Yeah.
Good.
And they went in business. A lot of them didn't succeed, but they went into business because they got a well-rounded education from me between there's different phases. There's construction, what we call jobbing or residential, fix your toilet, blah 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 blah, build your house, and do commercial work. And I did all of that stuff. So when somebody came out of my tutelage, they were in pretty good shape.
So basically you were training your competition. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, they took my accounts like crazy, which is okay because there's enough for everybody out there. And, I never looked at myself as being like a multi-millionaire 500 guy company or something like that. It never occurred to me. It was
Hmm.
just to go out and do what came in, and that was it. Just make a living.
Hmm.
That's it.
Okay. What would a typical day look like as a plumber, and did it change once you started your business? Were you still going out on calls, or were you more managing people? What would be the difference there?
Oh yeah, you start off probably about 4:30 in the morning, have a nice cup of coffee, figure out where you're going to send the guys. You meet up with everybody at the shop,
Hmm.
send them out. You don't. I used to tell them I don't want to see you till Wednesday if I had enough work. If I gave them a job assignments Monday, I don't want to deal with them. Here's what you got to do. You go here, there. I don't want to see you till it's time to bring your time card. Just do your thing, and you got to give a little bit of trust and faith,
Hmm.
and hopefully it's all right. You just sit there and answer the phone, do the paperwork, and the billing.
Okay.
And it's changed a lot since I started because now the billing, it's like you get paid boom like this. Everything's on the computer and all that noise.
Hmm.
It's a lot easier. But that's what we did. Now, I used to worry about where to send guys at 4 in the morning. Now I worry about what kind of coffee I drink in the morning because it's just me.
Well, that's a good thing to have to worry about too.
Yeah, it is. It is. But you got to put your time in.
Sorry, what was the last thing you said?
You have to put your time in to get to that
Oh,
point.
yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, you have to
Like you
work your
said,
way up.
yeah, like you said earlier, it's a young man's game.
Hmm.
I don't want to have guys anymore, 4 guys, 7 guys. I don't need it anymore
Okay.
because I can make a living by myself, which I have to, and it's okay.
Hmm.
So I could regulate how much work I want to do and how many days I want to work, and it's okay.
Hmm.
And, it's like I say, a lot of kids, when you consider what a kid's going to go to school for now to do anything, it appears to me that you have to go to school for 6 years. I mean, to do anything, you got to do that master's thing because college degrees are high school degrees back
Mm-hmm.
in my day. And, so you take those 6 years and you're going to be talking three to $400,000 of money out of your pocket or somebody's pocket
Mm-hmm.
to pay for my kids' education, by the way, too. So it was all good. And, you wonder if it's really feasible if you're a plumber making 45 bucks an hour after your third or fourth year. You're fortunate to get a 2,000 hour year, which is a 40 hours a week for 50 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a lot of dough plumbing, and where you're going to put in maybe $300,000 in education and come out making 40 grand a year,
Yeah.
after 6 years. So,
Yeah, your
uh,
return on investment is not as productive as you think it might be.
as you think, I mean, you got to put your time into it. It's like Mary Alice is sitting next to me. She's going to have 6 years or 7 years.
No, it's going to be like 10 almost.
10 years of that stuff going on.
Oh my goodness.
And she hasn't had a real paycheck. I would, she's got her some money, but it's like doesn't have that, that 90,000 a year you're going to make as a plumber.
What field are you going into, Mary Alice?
I'm going into nuclear engineering, but I'm doing a PhD, so I've got the 5 extra years on top of normal.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's a long time.
Yes, that is a very long time. And the field that you're going into is a STEM field where I feel like, going into college is kind of a necessity if you want to go into one of those
Yeah,
types of fields, you have to.
definitely. Like the STEM fields definitely pay off when the education that you put in. So if
Mhm.
you don't even go into STEM, then yeah, college is probably
Yeah.
unnecessary. But yeah, it pays back in those fields most of the time.
Yes, we're crossing our fingers for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And she doesn't have any college debt, so the pressure is off.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. So back to plumbing though. If you start your own business, is that where more of the money is at? Is that a benefit of doing your business? Is that you can reap in higher rewards that way, or is it more of just a different type of work that you'd be looking to do?
Everybody thinks that you're going to make more money when you own your business, and you can make more money. But sometimes when you get to that point, in construction, you have to start cheating on things a little bit, plumbing quality wise,
Mm-hmm.
to make money. You can lose a lot of money in plumbing too. It depends on how smart you are, how you apply yourself, and how you do things. And you could, my advice to anybody getting into this business is when you take on partner, and you also, not to change the subject, you take on partners when you go into business. You have a bank,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the IRS, you've got insurance companies, you've got the union, you've got a lot of other things that you have to answer to. So my suggestion is if you can become a plumber and just do side work, you should have more than enough money to get you through whatever you need. When you get greedy and stick your neck out, rolling the dice is basically what it is when you go in business.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a try, and see what you can do. A guy I'm working with right now, he used to work for me. I fired him because he played cards on Tuesday nights, and on Wednesdays he started his own business, and I'm helping him along on some stuff. He's very successful right now, and he's putting on a new truck every probably 5 or 6 months. And he's internet savvy where I wasn't. He knows how to advertise.
Yeah.
And he's doing well, and I'm just there to coach and estimate and show him some of the nuances.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be very successful. He's going to be as successful as he wants. He might have 10 guys going in, maybe 2 years, three more years. And it's all what you put into it.
Yep.
But if you want to have a social life, maybe businesses aren't the way to fly. They take up a lot of time.
Yeah, starting your own business is a risk always because you're taking on that risk yourself for you don't know exactly how long it's going to be before it pays off, but Yeah. Sounds like
It's like
what you put in is what you get out, which is true for almost everything.
going to a casino, and you just can't get greedy, and you can't make those monetary mistakes. Can't do it.
Hmm.
You have to have everything underneath your thumb and control it. If you can control it, then it's going to do what you tell it to do. But a lot of times the business is telling you what to do. I've had friends of mine, as old as I am, go out of business because they got greedy and they were pumping money into a dead horse,
Hmm.
personal money, and you can't do that. Once you take money out of your pocket and put it into a business, that should be your last day in business.
Okay. So you have to do it smart.
Yes,
Yeah. Now you mentioned technology and how it can help your business, but you are a perhaps a technophobe. Is that correct? Not
anti, no,
okay.
stone cold. I've never emailed, never used an ATM,
Oh wow.
and that's the way to stand. I can survive, and I survived that way for my whole life. You don't need it. You think you do, but you don't. Makes
Well,
things a lot easier because people are lazier.
I appreciate you braving technology to come talk with me on Skype today. I that
Well,
that
I've done this before.
okay.
I've spoken to you on Skype one time.
All right. So if you are not if you're not using technology to your advantage for your business, what are other methods of getting of accruing business for your plumbing?
Well, it's in advertising, but that's where the game has changed. Before, the phone books were
Hmm.
like a thing. Now there's no phone books. Everything
Right.
is done on the board right there. And that's where it never interested me to do that.
Hmm.
If you're hip to this technology, I mean, you can make it work. My friend Kevin, who I'm working with right now, he's into this stuff. So he's googling and he does his advertising on there and Angie's List,
Hmm.
and all these other things, and they're good. But if you're not a good plumber, they're really bad
Oh
because
yeah.
everybody prints something in. And if you get a customer that doesn't like you or doesn't like anybody, your history on that deal.
Hmm.
He's very good because he's thorough and he's honest. And you can't ask any more than that out of a plumber because that's where most plumbers have their downfalls. They're not honest.
Ah.
They want to come sell you something that you don't need. We don't do that.
Well, you get people at their weakest point when they're most desperate, and I can see how someone who's unscrupulous could take advantage of that.
Exactly. Like I told you, we tell somebody, and we do it when we're drinking beer on Friday night playing cards at the shop. If someone calls, we answer the phone and we
Hmm.
say, hey, what kind of toilet is it? Do this, do it, do that. See if you can get it going. If you can't get it going, call us back and we'll send a guy out tomorrow or whatever.
Hmm.
But we try to get people to fix their own things, whether it's a sump pump, a toilet, or a kitchen sink.
Hmm.
Somebody you can find out who's a little bit, and people love, all you have to do is read this guy's reviews, and what I'm telling you right now is true.
Hmm.
It sounds like a lot of eyewash, but it's not. And well, and you make friends.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I say, his reviews, um, he's probably got about 50 or 60 of them online. I'm not going to mention his name. And, uh, and he's got one bad one, and the one bad one was a lady that didn't like the bill. So
Yeah.
that's what you can wind up with. So, for me to look at the technology, I see that and I don't like it. But because you can put whatever you want on those papers.
Yeah.
Plumbers that are in business and have their friends put in all these fake
The reviews. Yeah.
reviews in there. It's what do you get? It's like a resume. You can write what you want on a resume. It's just, and they come and look at you and you can't even tie your shoes. So that's what you run into. So I believe very little that I see.
Hmm.
I'm a hands-on.
Well, it's tough because if you are on the consumer end and you have an issue and you don't know a plumber yet,
Oh,
those reviews, that's what you look for. You want to see someone, you need
right.
some reason
I,
for to hire one person or the other.
and I don't know what you do, so you're smarter than me in your respect. So it's like you got to put your faith and trust somebody When that's done, then you got a customer for life. A lot of the people that I work for, I was working for with Northridge Plumbing, and I've been working with them for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of my customers. And I just don't do the construction anymore because it's there's no money in it.
Oh, really?
No, you have to be competitive in construction, and we have to be competitive in jobbing too. But in construction, you can get your head handed to you real easy. When you're competing against 6 guys on a job, if you get a job, and I always got a job, and, you know, putting an addition on or, you know, a house or something, you don't get the job because you're a nice guy. You get the job because you're a low bidder. And that's what I told you a little bit before. When guys get these low bids, they go, oh man, where did I screw up? So then they start cheating to make things work. So you don't get as high a quality job when you're doing this thing. It's a trick bag. It really is.
I can see that. You know, the house that we are renting right now is probably a result of that because all of our pipes in our house have been damaged by
Yeah.
being out in the sun, and we've had multiple leaking issues, and it's just been terrible. And I'm sure it was a bidding war that led to, you know, someone,
Oh, hands
yep,
down.
cutting corners that way.
Realtors don't care. They really don't. They're looking for a bottom line and a max profit when you sell the house. When you're a plumbing subcontractor, they're going for the lowest price to maximize their profits. And that's how it works. So once that contract's signed and a bank gives them a check, adios.
Okay.
They're gone.
So
You got your
how do you acquire your business doing residential work? Because I would think that would be less consistent than, say, if you did commercial business and were always with the same, I don't know, manufacturer or something like that.
It depends. I work for a lot of big guys commercially. Those are the ones you want to work for. If you're going to be out managing a deal, you want to stay away from the housing. That's where you get your head handed to you.
Okay.
You know, I know 4 or 5 guys that got it, that I trained.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, it's a very, very difficult business because you have to be on the money. They dominate your time when you're doing a house. You got to be there 40 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not being paid for 40 days in a row because your payouts come after you get the rough done. So you got to put in 30 days before you get paid. And you got to hope the builder doesn't go out of business or you have like an economic depression like we just had. It's who's holding the bag.
Yeah.
Now, if you go on toilets every day, you get paid when you leave the job. So the risk is minimal. It's minimalistic in this business when you're doing jobbing, service work. Because you're paid and the work is spread out between, if you're working commercial, if you got 5 guys going, you're going to be working for maybe 4 contractors. If you're strictly doing housing. And in the meantime, so you got 4 customers. Well, if you're fixing toilets, they talk to their neighbors. You might be working for 200 people. So you're spreading it around, and the 200 will turn into 400.
So just word of mouth, getting out and.
No, people, if you do good deals, and you go, hey, this guy tried to get me to fix my own thing before I did. People love that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're successful doing it. I don't want to go out at 9 o'clock at night and run somebody's toilet. I really don't. Get you to do it, that's fine. Because and then you don't have to pay me. People call back and they'll say thank you, and they'll go, just remember me on your next job.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll be there to put a faucet in for them, or find something leaking in a wall or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we like doing.
So you get your loyal customers that spread the word and come back to you.
Right. Not all plumbers are set up for jobs. There's a lot of guys that will not do jobs too complex for them. They want to go in and do the repetitious housework and, don't have to deal with, Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones.
Right.
And deal with that. They want to just go to their job and, put their 8 hours in. And then, when the economy goes south, they don't work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with that. And, you can make a lot of money doing, project, contract housing, but you could lose a lot of money too.
Mm-hmm. A little bit
Guys
riskier.
in 2008, a lot of guys get whacked. Big companies that were there for 50 years went down,
Mm-hmm.
extended.
Hmm.
So you got to do a little. We did a little bit of everything. We had big commercial. We were doing remodeling in houses, but only with my pals. So you knew what was going on, and you always referred each other in a circle. So everybody knew each other, and we were always busy. We had a good time.
Mm-hmm. So when you go to these residential callouts, I have to imagine that you meet all sorts of people and get some strange, I don't know, houses that maybe you don't want to go into. Are there any dangers associated with going out to people's houses that you are worried about ever?
These days, you can get killed anyway. But just going into some of you see the way some people live is really, really gross.
Yeah.
You just go in there, and me as a plumber, I don't want to touch some of the floor stuff. I was on, I'm not going to name any names. I was afraid to touch anything. This was, food plates all over it,
Yeah.
food that's been there for months, and you got to rod the sink. So it's like, it's some of the stuff you got to deal with. Or you turn around and walk out. Just go, hey, you got to clean the place till, if you want me back here. Which is what you should do anyway, because some of these people need their tails kicked. But, that's it. But if you don't run into that all the time, most of this is cut and dried, just run-of-the-mill plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Repetition.
What's your most common call out? What are the most common issues?
Sewer rotting, toilet repairs. Toilets get a lot of use, 5-6 times a day minimum. So you get, the way they're built today, they're garbage. Hardly any brass on them, they're all plastic. And you just got to repair it. And you're at the mercy of technology.
Yeah.
Technology is costing you guys a lot of money. We would put in a toilet back in the 70s. It'd last 40, 50 years. The guts on it would last maybe 20 years. Now, if you get parts lasting around 3, you're lucky. You're lucky stars. But that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to fix them.
Well, it's unfortunate for the homeowner, but I guess maybe it's good for you. It gives you a little bit more work to come out and fix those things that break down.
It is, and the reason it's not really even technology, it's the economy. Everybody wants to buy the cheapest parts they can get. Plumbing cheap is not good. When you do plumbing, you buy expensive faucets, expensive fixtures, because they're now furniture. The more brass you got in those things, the longer they'll last. And it's like, you don't buy, when I come into a house and I put in a $500 faucet, not many people do that, though some do. I tell them, I said, you can either put that $500 faucet, it's going to take me longer to put the cheap faucet in than it does the $500 faucet. But then you're not going to have to see my face around. Fix that piece of junk we just put in it. You bought at Home Depot or one of the box stores. That doesn't go in on my jobs.
Yeah.
And you can keep out the Home Depot if you want. I mean, whatever.
The difficult thing is that sometimes price is not always, it might be different in plumbing, but I know for appliances and things like that, sometimes even if you buy the more expensive version, it's just higher price because of, I don't know, the brand, or it doesn't mean it has better appliances. So it can be so hard to know what's worth your money and what's not.
Yes, technology ruins things that way. You can buy a dishwasher with 50 knobs on it, and you don't want to do that. You want to get that dishwasher that's like 3 buttons. It's 3 things that can go wrong. Now you got air dryers, you got this and that and these and those, and you don't want to do that. And that's where technology comes in and complicates things, because you got to be an electronic genius to fix it.
Yep, that's exactly what my mentality is the more buttons you have, the more there is to go wrong and more likely it will need to be fixed.
Yes, exactly. There's Fords and then there's Mercedes.
Uh-huh.
These have a lot of things that you can spend a lot of money on.
All right, now
Uh,
you are located in Chicago, correct?
yeah, in the suburbs.
Okay. So to switch gears a little bit here, now I grew up in Milwaukee, so fairly close to Chicago, and I haven't personally driven through Chicago, but I know that it has a reputation for having terrible traffic and terrible traffic jams when getting from one part of the city to another. So in a large region such as that, how do you define your locality so that you're not driving an hour to get from one place to another?
For me, I don't care about driving, but let's just say Kevin, for instance, he's got four guys going.
Uh-huh.
He'll stick around the suburb that he's working in, or reasonably close. Going downtown for him is out. It's a whole other ballgame. You have to
Yeah.
triple your price going downtown
Mm-hmm.
because you got the traffic, you got to park, you got to pay off the building guy, so he'll get you a spot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're up and down an elevator. You have to wait for the elevator. It's very expensive and it's annoying because we want to go in and get things done. And the city's a dangerous place too.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're going. So we kind of stay within our suburban area, within maybe about a 15-mile area. But if we have friends or say like a commercial real estate outfit that has something to do, they know what our game is. They pay us our time to go down there and do the job because they trust us.
Mm-hmm.
And that trust and honesty thing is you can't buy it. You just can't. And we don't go out to sell, go out to put a sump pump in and sell you water piping or something. And that's
Right.
what they do. Oh, it's merchandising today.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of they send these big companies to school for that. They do.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. No, I refuse to be part of that. And most of the guys around me do too. Because I can't look somebody in the face and charge them $2,300 for a water heater installation. That's about $1,100 tops.
Yeah.
And you're still making money on that. It's hard to do.
Well, it's
People
easier to be
don't.
honest, which is good.
Well, you don't get caught up in a lie,
Yeah.
which will set you free.
Mm-hmm. Less to keep track of.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Well, there you go.
So is it, from your experience, do you think that it's easier to get started in a larger region, such as, a big city like Chicago, or someplace that's rural where maybe there's less competition, but also fewer clients?
Big city or immediate suburbs is where you want to be.
Okay.
If you go out, you're not going to get the education or the experience out, 50 miles from the city that you're going to get in the city
Mm-hmm.
or close to it, the variety of work. And you're going to be looking for work because the population density isn't as high. So when you're close to the city, it's, if there's 1,000 plumbers and there's 1 million people, you got 1,000 customers. If you go out to the suburbs and there's 1,000 plumbers and there's 200 people, you're at each other's throats.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it works. So
Okay.
if somebody was going to go do it, I would suggest, sticking around the city unless you really like and you can make money out there too, but you're going to be doing new houses and stuff as long as people have money to do them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And nothing wrong with that.
How do you end up setting your prices when you go out on a job? I don't know, is there a set price for your time that you charge for plus whatever parts you have, or does it depend on the type of job and you have a set price for that?
It's called time and material. We do a lot of quote work. Kevin likes to have quotes, so I do a lot of quote work for him. But, time and material is what you do. So you establish your hourly rate by how you pay your people. and you have that amount, which may be anywhere from 120 to $180 an hour,
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you are and what you're doing, and if you're union or non-union, and then the material comes after that. So you total your time up, total your material up, and put your tax on it and whatever, and there's your bill.
Figure it out.
If
Okay.
you get a flat number, you either win or you lose, and you take it from there. A lot of young people, they want a quote, so they go to a lot of these places with unit pricing. Unit pricing, everybody stay away from it.
Why is that?
Because they'll quote you $1,100 to put a disposer in. Well, a disposer should be about $350 and about maybe $250 to put one in. So you're talking $600.
Mm-hmm.
And the people you talk on the phone to somebody and you go, well, how much is it going to cost? And you go, well, probably about 2.5 hours time in your disposer. The cost of the disposer maybe 30, 40 bucks more in parts. And they go, well, can you give me a quote on it? He says, well, not till I see it. So you're figuring that this thing's going to be about $650 to $700.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to get the unit price. He goes, oh, it's going to cost you $1,300, and we guarantee it. Well, you got to guarantee it for a year anyway. It's state law. Mm-hmm. So you go, well, this guy's going to do it for 13. The guy that's going to do it for 675 may charge me 1,500, and they have a point there.
Mm-hmm.
But some people will go for that $1,300 price because it's a quote, it's firm,
mm-hmm.
and I can't do that with a straight face.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Well,
so you have to sell yourself before you sell that product when you go to somebody's house.
It sounds like it's almost a gamble for both sides, right? Because nobody knows exactly what it's going to be, and everyone's looking for the cost that's best for them.
Casino. It's gambling.
Yeah.
It's like and once you're in there and they trust you and they know who you are, they being the customer.
Right.
Once a customer knows who you are and they trust you and they see how you work and what you do, that's it. I've seen people charge $1,000 to put a faucet in, and that was the supply tubes going up to it. That was another $100. And it's like, you get nickel dime once you're in the door, and you're winding up with something, that you're getting gouged on. And it's starting to come back to these guys now because a lot of their trucks are sitting in front of their shops. And if you look on the internet, their reviews are the really bad reviews. Yeah, the really bad reviews are usually those guys.
Huh. All right. Well, you definitely want to stay away from those bad reviews online because people who are disgruntled are more likely to go and write that review than the person who is pleased with the work that they've gotten.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My friend Kevin, he's got 10 million good ones,
mm-hmm.
and one bad one, and but you don't know who's writing the reviews once again. And these are customers. I know they're customers. They send them thank you letters all the time, and just you just don't know if those reviews are true. I mean, mm-hmm. I look at it skeptically.
Yeah.
I know his are real, but I see other ones, and I read one of a friend of a friend's review, and I know that one of his buddies wrote it. And mm-hmm. The review was like, oh, yeah, he came in, solved our problem, no problem, good job. And it's like, people don't write those. That was by hell. And it's, you have to be skeptical about the reviews. From Angie's List on down.
Mm-hmm.
Question it. And you might take a gamble with that first guy you call out there. If you're comfortable with the guy on the phone, you'll have that nice warm feeling with him on the phone. It'll happen. Usually that's what you're going to go on. You're going on your feeling and how this person, is.
Mm-hmm.
And, once you're in there, you're in, or you're out, you're out. But a lot of people, they use the big box guys, and they're not happy with it afterwards. Then they go and have to start the search all over again. But you just don't know. There's a lot of people that don't experience out there in the field.
So you would recommend giving a person a call. I like that idea. and try to
Yeah.
feel them out on the phone versus going online. That's probably a good
Nope.
idea.
Like I said before, with going on with a resume, looking for a job,
Yep.
you got to put a face on the resume.
Hmm.
I'm trying to tell Mike the same thing, and he's too internet savvy.
Yep.
He just can't do it. And that's my experience when we look for jobs when we were kids. Not to change the subject,
Hmm.
but you had to show your face when you were there.
Yep.
If you looked Kemp and you looked like a bum, you weren't getting a job. I'm sorry.
Yep. It's important. First impressions. Yep.
Yeah, it is. It is. So you want to talk to somebody, get that feeling,
Hmm.
and it's then you'll know what to look for the next time.
Yep.
If it's not good. And like I said, Kevin can't do all the jobs for everybody in the whole area, so everybody's got a story to tell. But the guys get him for a customer, people get him for a customer, he stands by his work.
Hmm.
That's good. If a sword gets rotted and the sword backs up in like 30 days, nobody comes back and does it for him. He does it for nothing
Hmm.
because he's there to be your friend. He wants you to be comfortable with him, which I taught him. And he does well with it.
Okay.
So I'm still teaching people, and I like doing that.
It everyone wins when you have a reputable person that you're working with. Good reviews, good recommendations to other people, and everyone's happy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're at ease. You feel good, and
Yeah.
you don't mind paying the guy either.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true too. If you have a good feeling about it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people, they call you at 4 o'clock because number one, they don't trust you in their house alone.
Yeah.
So, and you go out and do that. You got to get that feeling. By the time we're done, they're giving you the garage code, so you can go there when they're not home. If there's a problem,
Yeah.
it's something you can always go change.
Hmm.
Job we leave, and we leave the bill, and they pay it, boom, done. But you got to have that warm feeling,
Hmm.
and that's how it works.
Great. Well, I guess I have maybe just one more question that I'd like to ask you for our viewers and listeners, which is, um, in your experience working in this field, what are some of the best things that come out of the job of plumbing? What have been your favorite parts of the job?
Oh, satisfaction by far. At the end of an 8-hour day, I've accomplished something. Or a guy who's moving figures around on a piece of paper. All he's got is that piece of paper. I've got 5 fixed toilets. I've got three sinks I fixed. I met somebody I had a lot of fun with. I've got an
Hmm.
accomplishment. There's a feeling of satisfaction doing this because you're doing something. Some guy he couldn't take a shower in the morning. His water heater didn't work. You put that water heater in, and he's rubbing and scrubbing and having a good time. You did something good.
Hmm.
You did something for somebody. Where you can do a lot of these technology jobs and all this, working at a bank or whatever. What
Hmm.
do you go home with?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you go home with? I am satisfied. I will do this till I die. And I used to be a millionaire. I'm not now for certain reasons. And I'll do this till I die. And I enjoy it. It's not a problem for me. I ski, I fish. Those aren't my hobbies. My hobby is plumbing. Those are just sidelines.
Uh-huh.
I do enjoy what I'm doing. And if you're fortunate enough to like your job, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a plumber or a scientist or whatever, if you're enjoying that, I say you go for it. Doesn't have to be plumbing. If you're having a good time, you have at it.
That is great to hear because there are not as many people as there should be in this world that love their jobs that much that would consider them their hobbies. So that's
There,
that's great to
yeah,
hear.
there's no job. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a young kid today. To tell you the truth, there's absolutely no way. Uh, you got to fight for a job. There are no jobs.
Hmm.
Uh, my kids back in 8th grade, I coached these kids through this nuclear garbage. And I told them, I said, you're going for liberal arts? You're not going to school. And I'm not paying for it. I paid for the other stuff. I'm
Hmm.
not paying for liberal arts to flounder. You're going to do something. And I'm proud of both of them because they both did something and they're
Hmm.
doing something. and that's it. And so, and hopefully they'll get their sense of satisfaction out of what they're doing too. And then they'll have a happy. It's not a problem going to work if you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes for me it gets a little nasty, but it's part of the deal, and I'm doing it.
All right. Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming on to College Alternative. I really appreciate talking with you, and it's great information that you put out there for other people who might be interested in going into plumbing. It's actually pretty inspiring, so thank you.
I hope that whoever's listening to this, if we're live, I don't know if we're live or what we are, but give it a shot. If you're just wallowing around there in your liberal arts or something, go on. It's not easy work.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have some muscle time yet. You're going to be sore, you may be tired, but you'll have a sense of satisfaction. It's like all my tech buddies who I hang out with, they want to go out and work out after work. I'm too tired to go work out.
Yep. You're multitasking. But, you're getting that done while you're at work.
Yes. Now you're talking.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks everyone for either watching or listening to this episode. Hopefully you learned a lot about plumbing and what it's like to have your own plumbing business. If you liked what you heard, then please click subscribe or check us out at collegealternative.net. We've got lots of information about how to be successful in your career without having to attend college. So thanks. Have a great day.